Alright, sorry about anybody that is listening, sorry about that. It's a little difficult. Right, so, go back to set agenda, any comments, concerns?
So number 7 is the rates for the fields. So $1.08, is that all of those?
Yes,
It's the same price. Okay, and then what is adult?
for adult lunch, so we don't get government subsidized lunch, so if we decide, yeah.
Everything non-student. Okay. And then, but the breakfast is different. Rates. What did I say? Breakfast $2.95, high school $2.50. What is the $2.95?
You say.
Different.
Yeah, sometimes. Hold on one second,
Sorry.
And of course, for anyone that is watching, if there's any deals. Or like, and how they're not listed here, but they're all. Placed separately, so this is if a student decides to get a set.
But these prices may change if there's no subsidized. I know we're not strong on lunch pricing if it's not subsidized in future years, we can.
It changes every year. But the CET program is approved for 4 more years, so. It shouldn't be in that position, right, some time, but if the people will release change, and there's. A whole population that I'm not deeply familiar with, but it has to do with, pricing, it has to do with subsidy pricing, and it also has to do with like participation rates and things like that. So the high school now should not have that's it, so I just pulled that out. So it's $2.95 for all classes, and then the adult price is that makes sense. If you can, things not. Well, the meals are, these are the shirts, so it's insane, 15 payments, 7 people, I would have my.
The information is down on the risk boxes, the new platform,
That's because the old platform that software actually sunset, so we had to move to a new one. So all that information will be worked on there. There were on them, they've been rolled into. Yeah. But if you have a question about that, you can let us know and on an individual basis, and we can tell you what you're.
I have a couple of different. Like from 135 to a regular. Actually, in this one, or, Rama, on the Alvin and, Maryland High School. I believe a lot of those were in the July. Okay. We have a lot of different times on that. Thank you.
And so, I know that there were some questions about our process for like recruitment, so we've been posting these publicly, and on Cold Blast and whatnot, if our teachers within haven't, signed up for them. So we've been getting more of a response to email, so. Yeah.
Other questions? All in favor? All against? Then nice. So we did the public hearings. Do I have a motion to adopt? for the, different safety plan.
So moved.
Second. Let's see, comments, concerns? All in favor? Any against? This is the county actions. There the motion to, approve that.
So moved.
Second. Approve it, I actually approve it with, and the other one should have been approved with the corrections that were discussed. Did I hear something? Let's see. Citizen comments, concern? All in favor? Jones? Person for the public? Board president, vice president, the only thing I had, I wanted to see if we can. Not really, before we get to more. This, facility approved. To Chris, you and David are going Thursday, right? Anyone else make the third now? What works for the witness?
Tomorrow's just really hard because we have. More into middle school.
What's good? Is that we have an open.
We don't have one down. Or I didn't. So Friday. Would be good. Yeah. Maybe morning, what time? Sorry. I would, again, I have something to do. That's how, do 9:30, let's start, and then. What's right now, you, I mean. To like 11:30, I maybe more to start, and then I join. I'm trying. You can look at that, for instance. You do yours then?
Just a problem to.
Say 3.
No, that's already submitted to
Who's going on Thursday at 3? The 3 of you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure we can't have.
Howard, Dana, and Howard, you do. What's that?
Like, we usually don't have everything.
They normally don't have everybody, so it's not important. Right, well, you know, I think they know, firms that you see a lot of them have, what's your,
I'm gonna, put it in by on. Thank you.
that is all I really want to talk about. Oh, I'm really, it's awesome. It's like, only during, but I'm always just gonna talk about project, not in some detail. Was that on the agenda already? It's a little bit big times.
Our project team met, the board committee subcommittee met, and then I'm seeing with the design professionals, not last meeting. The folks. How we want to bring this works to the community in November. So far, the plan for presentation to the board, I believe, at the next board meeting, which is going to be, 16. The vast majority of what was in our first competition, the biggest proposition, learning the ADA compliance components of the second proposition specifically in this building. And then bring it forward back to the community in November. On the messaging last year, among the board members, administration, what was really focusing on the importance of all the things that were in that first proposition. We don't want to miss the influence of any of those things. It's there. The statements in this meeting, we'll give you more detail about what that looks like. We're trying to streamline both the design process and, really clarify the influence of some sphere that I think that this is possible. So, we're gonna want to look at the initial, one of the good things about this is that our building conditions are required, state required building conditions are one time, he was over 10 years. So there were some assumptions in the scope where we were like, given where we were in the process, we just had to assume that we would have to go deep on certain districts that once they were able to dig into the tunnels and do the ACS work, they were able to name some of those items and save us some money on those installations. Of course, with the delay, even just from the end of November, there's already installations into our business. So the numbers are not going to be exactly what they want. So I just want to let the board know too, that we're going to see some. If you're going to compare your old notes to new notes, you may see some numbers that have just slightly increased by my percentages and more than this. Delaying the hopefully president over 6 months, or effectively delaying charges in this about this money. Well, it's past right to the. I don't know if you want to do at this point. Like, I don't want this, we need them within London. Because I really don't think we fully understand the intent of the road. There would, yeah, we had, there's a kind of plan. I don't think that we look behind it, so I was saying, we have just wire it's done, but it's done. The top that we're seeing it just that's the law. And we also have any ability to handle third quality. We need a better way, and I really thought the architects and this experience and helping us build that lesson. Not a story, but here's really what it looks like, and here's what it's really gonna cost, and how that thing is gonna spread over time. We need to, personally, I think we need to have representative eyes. I mean, and that was why I thought one of the reasons we like those guys as much as good, is because they had experience in probably describing conditions and what it means going forward. So I think somehow we, at some point, we need to make sure they understand that, yeah, it fails, the vote failed, but part of the reason my, that we didn't get what we talked about. I understand, we've got a lot of feedback with the design team. I know, knowledge is, we make sure we're gonna have the right teams tomorrow, and of course, remind people about, I think about working with the right team on, we're already is the, surgery kind of increase that by the design professionals to join us to help the events. So we're going to deliver the message in on these events that is not possible. We want to so ones I'm going but it's only one. I think it's really important.
you know, the orientations are tomorrow. Is there a long-term figure, because I'm sure that's what parents are going.
You know, we haven't seen that, and so because we're still really not the numbers and we're gonna give a false number. So really gonna focus the messaging on existing difference, the high level. It's just people like we're not just how positive and stuff is. Really looking at the numbers and so I'm saying the numbers only sense of the word that is.
I think that's a good idea, because I think just getting. That's a distraction, because all they're gonna look at is the number, and I know we talked about this in the facilities meeting, that. If you're going and you have the parents, especially if they're here tomorrow, and saying, these are the, like, this is what we need to do. You know, I think that, giving them that as a bullet point first, I think is a great idea. Because I think the whole number thing, like, once they see a number. No matter what it is, that's all they see. So I think that's smart to just for what we need. That's the really.
Our best is there's nothing on.
Right, probably trying to say there's no like fluff or whatever word you wanna use, there's no.
I really had. So, so. We had, some sort of. Yeah, virtual tool, because this is completely exactly walk around, look at that, ceiling tile. Oh, we're still like, but it's, if you can picture that, where the, there's no money, right? So you can walk, if you, have someone go on the lift. And somebody down there run it, and in the panel and say, okay, what's it just changed? And then they go. 20 minutes later, they're still trying to get to their appointment. Looking down the hallway and out the runner, listening to this ring and showing people like in real time, this is what our buildings, look like this is what the buildings, introduction of our buildings, and then we can't leave. And then, I mean, to me, that is something like this survey that we're gonna, with a difference in the way we present the facts to the public. Because I think we have to be able to say, this is not just a couple of spots on the slides. This is not just, it's looking for to walk them into the auditorium where it flies the seats, the flies the flies the, because the stories falling in. I mean, this is the stuff they need to see and understand. And just those shots. But again, I think we need, we need help for the emergency to understand. Probably and almost the public. And the misunderstanding, but hopefully so with one of the complaints, some public is. Why was it like to get this? Why was there such a part of maintenance? And when I got on the board 7+ years ago, I forget because of deferred maintenance. And the buildings look like they did 20 years ago. And it was not an okay thing. We can't blame what was done in the past. We had to deal with what's current and we're trying to build for the future of the district. It's like somebody's house. If you don't do maintenance for whatever reason, and this is a public building, so the public owns this building, and to continue to defer, that's what we're doing by voting down these instance, it's only been caused by the road. Also, I'd like to recently suggest that when we talk about putting in a lot of the HVAC, we also have the figures on what it costs to get it done. So the public that questions us will say we're wasting all this money in oil because of the single pane windows that, yes, we agree should have been replaced eons ago. We're stuck with this need. Not the oil and not 59 cents an gallon anymore.
And I think that really needs to fully people can understand why most of these things are which was when your needs and opinions would be right to some of the you know, the last thing is coming with so it's gonna be fun. And it's really so that you get bring it on that something. We also some we're also this from a little so things that why when stories it's one year I got or I mean I'm out the window keeping supply with it and I'm a doctor. If you want to do together. So things some in here with one part is it. I mean, these are the kinds of things that whatever reason they haven't done the new place. And it's beyond just, you know, put some stuff down there. Um,
Do we know? Can we tell from past, you know, none of us were here? None of us were here. That like how it was voted on in, you know, 2011 and it didn't get passed. Do we know any of that past stuff? Because I do think that's a great question for, and I know a lot of people ask that, like, how did it get this way? And to say like, you know what, none of us were here, that's not enough for them. They want to know, like, you know what, well, there were 3 budgets that went forward trying to do this and failed, or, you know, there were times in the past, and not saying like it was this person or this superintendent or it was, there were times in the past when it was duct taped, because that's just the way they did it. We're not doing it that way. And, you know, like, because especially fresh off a no vote, we could say, you know what, there were 3 or 4 times in the past that we tried to, that the administration, whoever it was, tried to pass the budget and it failed, like it wasn't passed or something. I don't know really that.
well, it seemed like, find the, if you also look at the, I don't know, if maybe moments here's the so the idea was, you know, when you spend, don't spend. It wasn't a matter of, we need 200 million or $20 million to upgrade the buildings and don't spend.
Sign them again here with anything other than.
So I think if we can say, well, out specific people who said no or maybe they did, if we can kind of give them things like, you know what? They don't know why, but there was never a capital project done. We don't know why, and that's why we are here. Or, you know, things have been dictated for so long, and that's why we are here. And by voting no in May, you know, it's just gonna continue.
Well, and I mean, so one of the things that we've been discussing a lot, right, is that, people we should have certain buildings and like Howard you were saying, the energy suck of other buildings, so this is our largest square footage building, the middle school. And I would say that this is the building that above all, right, is going to be a priority in terms of continuity of operations. If we needed to temporarily house another school of children, this would be the only building that we could potentially do that in. It's not ideal for those that are extremely. You know, if you bring other kids into this building, it's very tight and it is very, very difficult. If this building is the building that goes down, we will be looking at split schedules and alternate education plans. Because we cannot physically replace these students into another, and all of the district operations into other buildings. So I mean, that is a reality that people also need to understand, is that this building, so when we talk about reprioritization of these projects, some of those factors come up, right? This building being our largest square footage, if we lose this building, we're going to have a severe challenge for continuing daily operations of this school district for that period of time. Additionally, in terms of Elm it is our smallest building, but it is sucking the most energy, so to not prioritize that. As something that we need to make sure is, front and center in terms of this vote and this decision. It's really because the return on the savings, long term for the energy performance contract is going to be the greatest, including that building. So, we've looked at this from a different lens this time, and like Elliot said, we have our financial advisors and our construction manager crunching those numbers and getting everything back to us, repackaged in a different format. For next board meeting, but we've really tried to bring a different lens, because like Chris said, there's nothing we can really do without. But we're going to have to go on priority of we need this right now, because as Elliot has also said, right now means we're not even starting construction for at least a year and a half, right? Right. And then by the time it's actually finished, we're going to be crossing our fingers, that, we make it through that period of time.
I mean, one thing I have this conversation when we bring back, I said, it's. It's a combination of. First, I don't think it was enough. It's not like, I will slowly say, all right, so like, it's an important. It's also talk about. Or this in the past, if we drive in some movies in the room. I was so the point I am in that speak. So the comes. Or looking to move. So,
Yeah, and it really shouldn't be a reflection on the current maintenance team and facilities team, because to be honest with you, they've revolutionized the way that they're doing things. So however, when I hear you mention the price of oil, that we're like how much oil we're spending. We need to put an asterisk on that, because we've been managing that with manpower as well, right? Then the price would actually be way more if we didn't have a plan for conservation that they were doing, using the facilities and maintenance team. And so, thinking about things like that, but as Chris had said, right, we need to have maintenance plans, which we do not. We have those plans, we have service plans, we have gone through all of our building systems, even in terms of the sort of the fields, like we have maintenance plans, we have testing protocols. We have everything in place now so that we don't have a repeat of this with whatever it is that we are able to accomplish through this. We now have systems in place to make sure that they stay in the best condition possible for as long as possible.
That's also important to understand. Some stress from it's just. I mean, that's moving through town and most of the. The state stores. Not only is that, make them feel comfortable, it's on the property. So we don't want to get to this full, because we don't have in this full, it's here to send us. We're really just saying, what are we doing? So, fully operational and in good shape.
It actually gonna be like a mini presentation, or is it more a table?
So when I put in the presentation, we're gonna be, we're gonna do it with the photos and the. Room, like, so it's down with the, so that's. It's going to be this mentioned motivation systems. And then the numbers are concerned. We are the personal, only in the area with the parents, as they were, students and waiting to want to, so trying to capture categories of what's happening, and just display some existing. And then tell it's all very much visible.
Just wanna make sure people know. Push them toward that area.
Finding the ground, find a line. Sorry. What, if you some writing from us to plan. Policy statement, something that basically says. If anyone wants to go back to. Just letting the place go in. They at least have to put it out to the voters, or they have to present
at a board meeting with a motion, is there a way for us to get a, this is how it's, says, from this point on, maintenance is gonna be done on a schedule, an in-schedule basis, and we're gonna have, this maintenance fund, and we're gonna, when we do the capital project, we're gonna make sure that we have funding to maintain this stuff. If we just have somebody take a look and do this, that is something, again, he can burden future wars, but we also don't want to have this happen again.
I haven't seen it in policy, but what I have seen is districts set up 5-year interval plan, lines with 5-year CS agreement. So now when you're, we just do the inspection one, for the vendor, really, it's not, it's. But we can take that document, we have a 5-year facilities plan, and we'll everyone. Everyone that plan, that allows the board to ask for that, or the student without looking at my levels of policy.
Something that allows us to, I mean, if you're going to, like window air conditioners, or maybe window air conditioners are not going to be allowed in the consumer. In the future. So if a board wants to, maintenance team wants to put the window out, put a window air conditioner, and at least it's gonna be done with when the authority of the board or this thing, or house of the board. I don't know. And then probably nothing that allows us to do that, but if we can take a look, to us there is some way that we can put this into works. From this point on, we expect this stuff to be well maintained. One of the maintenance done on it, single maintenance done on it.
We discussed that. When you see if anything that fits, but I think it's also on creating the systems that we've created to implement from within. So we now have opportunities within our facilities and custodial departments. So we have folks who are currently learning the systems and the maintenance schedules and all of that from Elliot and John. So that, someday we hope when John decides to, on and retire and go on to the next phase of life, there are other folks who already have these systems and are aware of that can move into those roles. So it can be this legacy.
But I don't look at this as a management. Yeah, there's problem that being maintained that. You don't look at this as, hey, maintenance guys walking around going, not a how they don't like this, punch it hole, punch out the cement block and see everything this area. I don't think the maintenance guys, now, or have made those kind of decisions, hey, we put plywood duct tape and thing over there, and then I'll be doing them. These are decisions that, at the very least, so principals, administration, one of the board to say, yeah, let's done fine, we'll give you $100 and you go see the cans in the set. And then the maintenance of this. So I don't know if we can put something in there, and something that says. Future boards, future administration. You're gonna do something like that, you're gonna cheat about something. This is what you gotta do. I go see the board and I go. But it would be nice if you can. Not just answer the question, but like, no, we'll never do this again. And we say, well, what we're going to do is make board, to the public. And we should never hear this over this. Think about it. I mean, think about how we're gonna do it. I don't know if. Those kind of things in place. Regardless what happens, I mean, single thing is outdated. We're just needing to replace just like a house. Same things. Since and breakdown, so we're kind of nice. It's in the point where I have many of them. So good time. Okay. Easy. All right. Let's see, board member, superintendent.
So good evening, everyone. It's exciting. Today's been a pretty exciting day. We had new orientation. So I wanted to say thank you to all of our teachers who participated. We also had many of our veteran teachers and administrators who participated in welcoming the staff, some as mentors and some as presenters. So we had presentations on a variety of topics, including SEL and ruler. We had MTSS, we had leveraging AI in the classroom, we had how to support students who receive ENL services and special education services. Today, Dr. Watkins and Mrs. O'Connell did an exercise from the book, which you can actually see around you. The book, again, by Adam Grant, fabulous book. If anybody is a reader and wants to learn more about it, it was very well received by our new teachers and actually previously rolled out to all administrators and staff at some of the buildings. So it was a great 2 days. We're really excited to have welcomed our new staff and we look forward to starting the school year with them. This summer has been extremely busy. We've had 40 plus teachers who engaged in summer mini grants throughout the district. So purpose of a summer mini grant is a particular area of interest within the curriculum, and or it could be data studies, something like that, that a teacher or a group of teachers is interested in working on. So almost every grade level of the elementary school worked with one of our consultants on literacy and refining some of their literacy curriculum and or instructional practices for the upcoming school year. We also had many of our teachers at the secondary schools who either worked within their content area and or in some cases worked with our district-wide consultants that we've been working with ELA and math. So again, very, very busy. I want to thank the MEF for donating over $30,000, which is from your next in this meeting to support literacy instruction. This is the second year in a row that they've made that donation. So we really appreciate their partnership with this. I also want to thank Reardon Briggs and the Millbrook Rotary, who partner annually with us to support students in need. They help us to obtain school supplies for the families that cannot provide them for their students. And we truly wouldn't be able to fill that gap without Reardon Briggs and the Rotary, so we appreciate their support. And it's been awesome to see so many of our teachers back in the hallways, and we look forward to having our students back on campus and for real next week, but we'll see some of them in the next couple of days at orientations throughout the buildings. Additionally, we will have school-wide assemblies where the principals will review the code of conduct and expectations with students and staff, as we always do the first couple of days of school. And we're so excited to be piloting a new program at Alden, where our already employed counselors in our district will be going down and working with Alden students on topics related to social and emotional learning, academic goal setting, and early college exploration. So there will be a cycle in which they are rotating through the Alden Police classrooms to be able to work with the students on those topics, but also it's really important to build those relationships and then have that longevity as the students move on through the school system. So kudos to Ms. Folsberg for her work in aligning some of those learning opportunities with the counseling staff. And also Dutchess County CAPE, which is the Council on Addiction Prevention and Education, will be here working with students in the fall on the Too Good for Drugs curriculum. So letters did go home about this, just outlining some of that work for parents. So if you have any specific questions, you can certainly reach out to your building principal. And we look forward to a fall advisory council meeting on October 1st. And members can look forward to contact from Samantha Folsberg, who will soon be lynched this weekend. So if you see a strange email from a name you've never seen before, that is Samantha. After this, for those of you who are on the advisory council and or wellness committee and receive direct contact, that is the Samantha that you've known. And so we're replacing our Naviance college exam planning platform with a major clarity, which offers a more streamlined student-centered approach to post-secondary planning. So that will really impact students in the secondary buildings now, and when younger students reach there, they will be working with that tool. Elliot just gave a little bit of a Hamel project outline, so I will skip down. And I'd like to give a public shout out to our 1,200 employees who do the work of Sun Heroes to close that one school year and open a new school year, right? So, I think that some folks, it may be lost on some folks, right? Everything that goes on throughout the summer. We've had some of our new employees who have experience in other industries that are new to education who comment quite frequently on, wow, I never knew how much went into running a school district and, you know, how many things happen sort of in the dark of night kind of thing over the summer. So it's been really awesome. And I also want to thank our food service team who provided breakfast and lunch for almost 80 students this summer, every single day of summer program. So it was awesome. We had almost 80 students in attendance, and we actually had older students who were willing to come in and do some work here so that they could have breakfast and lunch every day. So we were able to make that happen for them as well. And I want to thank Mr. Garcia and Jessica McRoberts for their work for student in preparing our transportation runs from school, and a big thank you to Dr. Watkins in planning our annual administrative retreat, which was a huge success. We had sessions that were offered by the business office. Ashley did presentations on business office functions, extra class funds. Cheryl did a session on human resources and setting expectations for board meeting functions and everything that it takes to prep these meetings for you all and for the public. We also had some work with integrated reliability, which is when administrators come together around teacher evaluation and observation and discuss those practices to ensure equity, regardless of who is in your classroom and reviewing your teaching practices. And we also shared a text, Atomic Habits, thinking about 1% changes that we can each make to make our goals more efficient and the school district run as best as possible. Our fall athletic season is officially underway at the varsity level and will begin from modified sports with the return of school. We've also welcomed several new students who qualify for services as English language learners. So this is my certification to the Board of Education that we were at that critical point where just to give you some context, a student who is a newcomer to this country and may not speak any English, they are at the entering level of language acquisition, could require upwards of 3 periods of language services a day, which obviously means 3 periods that a staff member is tied to that student. It could be true that they're able to service multiple students at once if that fits, but some of the regulations for the units of study for students under Part 154, we're only allowed to have 2 grade levels of students together in the same pull-out session. Some students require push-in sessions, some students require pull-out sessions. So it is true that in a situation like this, one family of students could require an increase in services that could be something more than our staff could handle at this point in time. So we actually had, I believe it was 7 total students that came in this summer with English language services. So it's way more than we've seen in terms of an increase in that population at any one time. So we are able to manage right now. But you know, I just want you to be aware that if we have additional students that we want to be able to meet their needs and therefore may have to do some staffing decisions. And then I did just give you some dates here in terms of back to school nights. And additionally, we also have pre-K and K meet and greet on August 29th, as well as a summer reading celebration and popsicles with the principal at Elm Drive. So this is I'm very excited about that. And then, as we've already mentioned, we have our grand teachers for the secondary school. Does anybody have any questions?
I just wanted to mention something that I don't think was mentioned, that, Carolyn did an excellent job representing her district at the naturalization ceremony that was held in Millbrook High School a couple of weeks ago. I don't think, I ever got to say that. I think I was the only one from the board who was there. And I commend the facilities committee and getting everything organized, making it really comfortable with everyone for whoever helped in organizing that, to give members of local government, members of the community, and those who are able to attend the ceremony, such a good impression of our district, and hopefully they'll always, like our son, and they'll always have a good impression of our school. They don't want to move here, so they're there, and hopefully, that community connection keeps growing. So I think that you did an excellent job, thank you. And we're pushing forward. This is the motion to Rush. On the motion. So moved. Seconds. Second. Yes. This is on a, answer from the, motion. So moved. Second.
I'll second.
Thomas.
Thank you. That's not a chance.
The like the nursing facility. All in favor? Okay. The enrollment report is for you to look at. But I think this, this one there numbers just the calendar year has its signature. So you should always be seeing to you again, once in a while.
If we can, I mean, we can do it once a month, it's,
Yeah.
I have a lot to be wrong.
And then some pushing the negative social media, I'll have to flush them out, but it's not wrong, so far. Moving business noise and eighth graders coming down from assuming they've got grants from something else. I mean, no,
7 students who went.
we know anything about these.
There are exits, right, that are not, even next time that data, I mean.
Yeah. And to understand like, each of the town. It's definitely a bigger number of temple cost. Different. It's not. Seems to them. If you go back to the next bit, let's take this year, I think that's great. And it's the whole 5% change. Wait a minute, this was done. No.
No, we lost 13 several years back, but yeah.
5%. Well, it's down. It's a big number. It's 16. You know. Yeah. You just want to make sure something that's something that we're gonna, this is a thing that's gonna take this. As we get smaller, it's we're gonna think on things. I don't remember this. Was. There's it's great. This time,
What is that?
Underrated.
So students who are in specific special education programs, you'll remember that we've been bringing students back to district. So that's typically aligned to how they will be assessed in terms of alternate assessments.
Okay.
And so once they're identified as not on track to receive a Regents diploma and they're following sort of a unique educational path, they're put into an ungraded category. This,
The high school back, we're calling it parent night or back high school night.
is that one not?
We're gonna have it's just something to think about. I know Lord's mentioned it before that it's usually in October that Lord's was there for. Something to think about. Might that be an opportunity for eighth grade families to be invited up? Not when you go through the classes because they're those kids are high school. Like just some information, some introduction. To the high school if they're thinking of going elsewhere, so they have some comparison point, and maybe not even that night.
Yeah, I don't think.
Other
that
day
makes- Well,
and,
but yes, I mean.
you know, before January, I suppose, because I think January is when they would take that.
Yeah.
With the exam,
Well,
it's sort of line.
start, they start going from.
Yeah, well, that, I don't. Yeah.
It really should be done in October, November. They take the admissions and school lines that are.
Thank you.
Sorry, then, next is, executive session. Right, that, everyone know, over. Just, over, the meeting is over, we're back, and there may be actions necessary based on discussion. Executive session. So with that, do I have a motion to go to executive session?
So moved.
A second? Second. All in favor?
Bye.
Yes. Wow.